ॐ स्थापकाय च धर्मस्य सर्वधर्मस्वरूपिणे अवतारवरिष्ठाय रामकृष्णाय ते नमः. Namaskar to all of you. Welcome to the study of Bhagavad Gita. We are in the second chapter and we are studying from the fifth verse of the second chapter. Before entering into proper Bhagavad Gita, we shall chant two verses from the meditation on Bhagavad Gita. ॐ पार्थाय प्रतिबोधितां भगवता नारायणेन स्वयं व्यासेन ग्रथितां पुराणमुनिना मध्ये महाभारतम् अद्वैतामृतवर्षिणीं भगवतीम् अष्टादशाध्यायिनीम् अम्ब त्वाम् अनुसन्दधामि भगवद्गीते भवद्वेषिणीम् वसुदेवसुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनम् देवकी परमानन्दम् कृष्णं वन्दे Jagadgurum. In the last session, we had chanted the fifth verse of the second chapter. I shall just chant that verse and then go forward. Guru nahatva hi mahanubhavan shreyo bhoktum bhaikshyamapiha loke hatvartha kamanstu guru nihaiva bhunjiya bhogan rudirapradigdhan. So this is the way we have to chant the fifth verse in the second chapter. The simple meaning is, indeed, Arjuna is telling, it were better for me to live on alms, that is begging, in the world and avoid slaying my honored elders, killing these people who seek their own purposes. I should be tasting blood-stained pleasures if I kill them. In the last class, I explained this whole verse, and I also gave the example of Macbeth, where he had killed the king and for so many months together. He had nightmares, he couldn't sleep, and his wife, who had encouraged him to kill the king, would be always washing her hands because she felt her hands were stained with blood. So, here, if Arjuna has to kill so many of his cousins and his elderly teachers, his grandsires, so it will be something like that. Now, Guru Nahatva, without killing these gurus, that is, Guru does not mean here the teacher, it means respected elders. He Mahanubhavan, all honored people. Shreyo bhoktum bhaikshyam api haloke. I would much prefer to take bhiksha, begging food from several houses. Now, who are allowed to take bhiksha in our scriptures, that is begging alms? Now, the householders cannot beg. Especially in the householders, we should see that only brahmacharis who are going to be householders, who are students, they should leave on begging. The householders who have taken up the work and the Vaishya community who are doing commerce, rearing animals, that is animal husbandry and other things, then agriculture, they are called Vaishyas. So they should not beg. Then what about the Shudras? Now they work for money, they cannot also beg. Then what is the next one? Kshatriya, the warrior class. They too should not live on alms. They should be working hard and earning their money. Now, the Brahmanas who are dedicating their life for the sake of God, meditation, and the good of the society, they could live on begging. Now, only these people are allowed to beg. The students, that is the bachelors, the students who are learning, they can beg. They should live on begging because why were they asked to beg? Because at that time they will be entering into the period of adolescence. To remove their ego and all that thing, there were so many other reasons for them, they could beg. But the warriors, they couldn't beg at all. They had to do the hard work and then earn. They should never live on begging. But now Arjuna is telling, instead of killing my elders, instead of killing my relatives, isn't it better that I live on begging? Even though I am a warrior, I am a kshatriya, I should never beg, but this is better. Begging is better. He is now arguing with Krishna. Hatvartha kamanstu guru nihaiva bhunjiya bhogan rudir pradigdan. If I kill these people who run after material wealth, now he is using the term material wealth. Why? If we kill these people who run after material wealth, whatever food I eat will be smeared with their blood. Artha kama means kama, desire, for artha, wealth. Why are they called artha kamas? Now we shall enter into one portion of Mahabharata. Then we will come to understand why are they called artha kamas. As I told you, artha means wealth, kama means desires. That refers to an incident in the Mahabharata in the beginning itself. Actually, that idea is coming now through the mouth of Yudhishthira. Who is Yudhishthira? The eldest of the Pandavas, Dharmaraya or Yudhishthira. So, why is it coming in his mouth or words? Just before the battle began, Yudhishthira, the eldest of the Pandavas, was not in a mood to fight his opponents. So he walked towards the opposite side unarmed. And warriors on both sides were wondering what he was meaning to do. Now, Yudhishthira went, he touched the feet of Bhishma, the grandsire, Dronacharya, the teacher, Shalya, another elder, three very senior people whom he respected and requested them either to come to his side, their side, or remain neutral, not to fight on the side of unrighteousness. But Bhishma, the grandsire, Drona, and Shalya, all the three replied to Yudhishthira in the same language that we are fighting against you. Why? Because we are beholden to Kauravas, to Duryodhana. Why are we beholden to Kauravas, though they are unrighteous? He is giving us salary. We are living on his money, on their food. He is giving us our food. We are bound down by these obligations. So we are not in a position to help you. We have to fight against you, though you are on the side of righteousness. So that is the statement given by all the three to Yudhishthira at that time. This comes in Mahabharata Bhishma Prabha. Now, what is told by all three of them in Sanskrit? Artasya daso purushaha. Now, this is related to the early period when Bhishma was a guest of Kauravas. Drona was also the same. He was given salary and a free house and allowances, everything by the Kauravas. What you speak of today, an officer being appointed with all the prerequisites, Drona also got it. Shalya also got all of them. All of them thus became bound to Kaurava, who was unrighteous. In Bhishma Parva contains this thing also. This verse says, man is the servant of wealth. Wealth is never the servant of anybody. See the language. Iti satyam Maharaja baddho. We are all bound. We have been bound down through wealth by the Kauravas. They gave us our salary, our allurements, etc. What a truth it is. Even today, we are bound down by the salary we get. The people whom we serve, we have our loyalty towards them. We can't do anything else. Why is it so? Because we want our sensory satisfaction, food, drink, house, all these things. And they all involve money. And so, since we need all these, we need money. Most people are subject to the pressure of money. Arjuna is referring to that particular situation. All these people who are now assembled here to fight, whether it is Drona, Bhishma, everybody, or Arthakamas. By killing them, what do I get? I get food smeared with their blood, which I don't like to eat. I prefer to eat the food got by alms. Now, we have got some special feature of why some of the terms used here. I will now go to the next verse, that is the 6th verse. Now we shall chant the 6th verse. As I told you, some of the verses are in particular meter, so the style of chanting will be one type. This verse, 6th verse, is also in a different meter, chandas, so the style of chanting will vary a little. The 6th verse, you can repeat that verse after me. Na chaitad vidmaha kataranno gariyo yadva jayema yadivano jayeyuhu yane vahatva najiji vishamaha devastita pramukhe dhartarashtraha. Now let us chant this verse. Na chaitad vidmah kataranno gariyo. Please chant. Na chaitad vidmah kataranno gariyo yadva jayema yadivano jayeyuhu yadva jayema yadivano jayeyuhu yane vahatva najiji vishamaha यानेव हत्वा न जिजीविषामः तेव स्थिताः प्रमुखे दार्तराष्ट्राः तेव स्थिताः प्रमुखे दार्तराष्ट्राः. Now we shall see the simple meaning. Arjuna is telling Lord Krishna, O Lord, we do not even know which result of this war is preferable for us. Whether conquering them is good or being conquered by them. Even after killing them, we will not desire to leave. Yet they have taken the side of the sons of Dhritarashtra, the blind king Dhritarashtra, and now stand before us on the battlefield. When evaluating the most suitable course of action, one considers various alternatives and their consequences. Arjuna was debating with Lord Krishna whether it would be desirable to defeat the Kauravas or to be defeated by them. Both alternatives seemed like defeat. Even if he wins, that would be like defeat, because all the kith and kin relatives are dead, the teachers are dead. Then how will he enjoy the kingdom after everybody whom he loved have gone? How can they enjoy that kingdom? That's why even defeating them or killing them is also not good. However, the fact was that Bhishma, Dronacharya, Kripacharya, etc. had acted ignobly by taking the side of the unrighteous Kauravas. See, we have Nobel Prize because if you do something good to the society in a righteous way and help the people, that is called righteousness. Bahujana hitaya, bahujana sukhaya, for the welfare of the many. Then they get Nobel Prize. But if some people do something peculiar and also not very noble, they get a prize called ignoble prize. So now here, the fact that Bhishma, Dronacharya, Kripacharya had acted ignobly by the side of the unrighteous. The word arthakaman, as I discussed earlier in the 5th verse, has been used for them, implying they are attached to wealth and position. They had taken the side of the wicked Duryodhana. So, killing them in the war was a natural consequence. In fact, after the war, Bhishma himself admitted that a teacher who acts ignobly is fit to be abandoned. Bhishma himself is telling. Now let us compare between these two beautiful epics. You are all popular with Ramayana. You are also knowing very well Mahabharata. In these two cases, you will hear some similar sounding name. What is that? In Ramayana, we hear the word Vibhishana, is the younger brother of Ravana. Now, in Mahabharata, Bhishma, see Vibhishana, Bhishma, something sounding similar. But here, Vibhishana is a demon. He is the brother of Ravana. But he was made the crown king of Sri Lanka by Lord Ramachandra himself. But here, Bhishma has so many wonderful qualities. He was one of the Ashtavasus, he was the son of Ganga, but he was allowed to die on the battlefield, on the bed of arrows. He didn't have water, he was seeing all the people dying in front of his eyes, suffering. He had to die. And he was the great devotee too. See the contrast. So, whatever your goodness, whatever your goody-goody nature will not come to help if you don't work for righteousness. If you work for unrighteousness, however good you may be, is of no use. Vibhishana, being the best of the person, best of the character, had to suffer so much. And though he had the boon that he can die whenever he likes, he can choose his death whenever he wants. But see, that also became detrimental. He was waiting for Uttarayana from Dakshinayana, which was not a good time to die. He was waiting until Uttarayana on the battlefield, on the bed of arrows, putting out every drop of blood in his body, seeing all the people dying there in pain, he had to wait. But on the contrary, Vibhishana, though a demon, but he gave up Ravana who was unrighteousness. He advised first his brother, elder brother Ravana, do not do that, you have kidnapped another man's wife, that is bad. Give her back with honor. This is bad work you have done. When Ravana didn't adhere to his good advice, he gave up his party, his own brother, he gave up his own family, walked to the side of righteousness, that is Ramachandra. First he tried. See the difference, though being a demon, because he worked for righteousness and he is rewarded. Here, Bhishma and other people, though of good nature, great qualities, but of no use because they worked for unrighteousness. So, you should be very, very careful in our life. What are we to learn from this? Yeah, we may be very good. We may be not harming anybody. People call us, oh, they are so good. That's of no use. Are you on the side of righteousness? Are you working for the sake of many? Are you working for the development of the society? Then your goodness will be of use. If you are against righteousness, if you are doing nothing in spite of all your goodness, it will not reward you in any way. So that is to be noted here with the example of this Bhishma and there the demon Vibhishana. So these are the things which we have to note in Bhagavad Gita and all these epics, how to connect that to our life and how we can be benefited. Now, let us see what are the great qualities of Bhishma. Though he was acting on the side of unrighteousness, Bhishma himself admitted that a teacher who acts ignobly is fit to be abandoned. Here, special mention need to be made of Bhishma according to Srimad Bhagavatam, verse 9:22-19. He was a great devotee of Lord Krishna. He was a master of his senses and an icon of chivalry and generosity. Even his guru Parashurama, one of the avatara, he couldn't defeat him in his fight. Such was the greatness he had. He was a knower of the absolute truth and had vowed to always speak the truth in his life. Even death could come only to him when he chose to accept it. For various reasons, he is enumerated amongst the 12 great personalities or Mahajanas mentioned in the Bhagavatam. And who are they? In which list is he mentioned? See, I am going to make. Who are these Mahajana, great people? Swayambhu, Lord Shiva. Then Brahma, creator Brahma. Narada Maharshi, Kapila Maharshi, Prahallada, Janaka, Bhishma, Bali Chakravarti. So these are the people in which you see Bhishma's name is also there. These are the 12 great knowers of religious principles. The firstborn Brahma, then Lord Shiva, sage Narada, the 4 Kumaras, Bhagavan Kapila, Swayambhu, Manu, Prahallada, all these Janaka Maharaja, grandfather Bhishma, Bali Maharaja, Shukadeva Muni and Vedavyasa. Hence, Bhishma was an enlightened soul whose action could never be against the principle of dharma. However, his profound character was beyond mundane reasoning. Even though he fought on the side of Kauravas, he said to Yudhishthira, what did he tell? The eldest of Pandava brothers before the war, I am obliged to combat on the side of unrighteousness because I have eaten their food. But I give you the boon, Yudhishthira, that you will be victorious in the war. Bhishma knew that the righteous Pandavas, who had the Supreme Lord Sri Krishna on their side, could never lose. By taking the side of adharma, unrighteousness, he showed that even, what is he showing by his life? Even the biggest force on heaven and earth could not make unholiness win in this holy war. What is Bhishma showing by his life? Even the biggest force, if it takes to unholiness, unrighteousness, cannot win. Have you heard the wonderful statement from the Vedas and the Upanishad? Satyam eva jayate nanratam. Truth alone prevails, not falsehood. What is truth? Righteousness only prevails. That will win. You know, before the war in Mahabharata, even in Ramayana also, before going to war, Lord Ramachandra also went and prayed to Mother Durga and got blessings of Mother Durga. Now Arjuna was also asked to go and pray to Mother Durga by Krishna. So he went and prayed, he did the puja, and Mother Durga appeared. And now what do you want? You know, Arjuna asked for victory in the battle from Mother Durga, because without her blessing you can't get victory in the battle. She is the mother of all victory in every endeavor. Now, you know what, when he asked for victory in the battle, you know what was the reply by Mother Durga? You will be surprised. Mother Durga told Arjuna, Yataha dharmaha, tataha Krishnaha, Yataha Krishnaha, tataha Vijayaha. Wherever there is righteousness, there will be Lord Krishna. Wherever there is Krishna, there will be victory. These were the words of Mother Durga. And you will be surprised, the mother Gandhari. Who is Gandhari? The mother of the Kauravas. When Duryodhana went, because she was a great pativrata, for the sake of husband, she too, all her life, put a string or cloth around her eyes, and she became blind. Such was the intensity of her pati seva. Now, she was a great lady. If she blesses anything, it's bound to happen. Now, the Kaurava went and did pranams to her and asked, Mother, please bless that we should get victory. She told, no, I will not bless like that. You know what was her blessing? She told, wherever there is righteousness, there will be victory. If you, my son, have righteousness, you will win. If you don't have that, see, all these are to be noted when we come across whether Bhagavad Gita or Ramayana or Mahabharata or any story or any life, which we have to notice, the Lord is always on the side of righteousness, though it may take some time for truth and righteousness to win, but finally, no power on earth can defeat holiness and righteousness. That is what now you can see in the life of Bhishma. Nobody could even defeat him. His own Guru Parashurama, the Avatara, couldn't defeat him. Nobody could defeat him. But he lost in the battle, and he had to die such a very pathetic death. Why? Because he took to the side of unholiness and righteousness. He thus offered Bhishma the biggest sacrifice of laying down his life to assess the divine pastimes of Lord Krishna. Shri Krishna was well aware of Bhishma's deep devotion towards him, despite his fighting from the side of Kauravas, the unrighteousness. That's why he upheld Bhishma's vow by breaking his own vow. Now, though Bhishma got a very bad, pathetic death, just to fulfill his desire, though he was a devotee, so Krishna just broke his own vow to keep up the vow of his devotee, Bhishma. What was that? Krishna had taken a vow before the battle that I will never take up any weapon and fight in the war. Now, his devotee Bhishma has taken the vow just on the day of some, I think, 14th day or 15th day of the battle. In that 18th day of the battle, one of the day he took a vow that today either I am going to kill Arjuna or I am going to make Lord Krishna to take up the weapon to protect Arjuna. Now Bhishma fought so fiercely and he was about to kill Arjuna and he also hurt Lord Krishna. Now Arjuna was too hurt and Krishna was also hurt. Now you know, to protect Arjuna, our Lord Krishna took up one of the wheels, made him the chakra, the discus, and was about to go and attack Bhishma. Then Arjuna caught hold of his leg and told, no, Lord, you have taken the vow, please do not do that, and he had to bring him back. Now see, just to keep up the vow of his devotee, he broke his own vow. So the Lord will be assisting his devotees. But if you act against righteousness, he will not be with you. The Lord will be always taking care of you, doing everything good. But if you give up righteousness, you are on the side of unrighteousness, the Lord too cannot help you. So we should be very, very careful. You should see that in the life of Ravana also. Ravana was also a great devotee of Lord Shiva. But what happened to him? Because he did wrong things. So now, if I do not make the Supreme Lord Krishna lift his weapon, then I will shame my mother Ganga, and I am not the son of King Shantanu. Bhishma fought so valiantly that Arjuna's chariot was shattered and he was stranded on the ground. At that stage, Sri Krishna lifted the chariot wheel and came forward to prevent Bhishma from killing Arjuna. Bhishma saw the Lord with the chariot wheel in his hand as a weapon and broke into a big smile. He understood that Bhaktavatsala, Bhagavan Sri Krishna, God who gives pleasure to his devotees, had broken his own vow to honor the vow of his devotee. In fact, Bhishma's devotion to Lord Krishna had a very sweetness in it, flavor to it. He used to meditate on Sri Krishna's pastimes in Vrindavan. There, in the evening, when the Lord would return to the village after grazing the cows in the forest, the dust raised from the hooves of the cows would deck his charming face, increasing its beauty and sweetness. During the battle of Mahabharata, the dust raised from the hooves of the horses too added to Sri Krishna's beauty, and he had loved having darshan of the divine Lord Krishna there. Even in the last stage of his life, as he lay for 6 months on the bed of arrows, he meditated on that very vision of Krishna, offering the following prayer. What was the last prayer of Bhishma on the battlefield? Lord Krishna's flowing hair was covered with white dust raised by the hooves of the horses, and his face was covered with sweet beads because of his physical effort in driving the chariot. These were like ornaments enhancing the beauty of my Lord, and the wounds dealt by my sharp arrows further intensified the decoration. Let my mind meditate on that Sri Krishna. Now Lord Krishna reciprocated his loving devotion by himself coming to meet Bhishma on his deathbed of arrows. And with the vision, there is a darshan of God in front of him, Bhishma, the great Mahajana, left his body of his own volition, having the vision of the Lord at his last moment. But though God will give you vision, do all the thing, but if you go against righteousness, he will not take your side, he will not help you. So that is to be noted. Now we will go to the next verse, that is the 7th verse. We will now chant the 7th verse. Karpanya-doshopahatasvabhavaha. Karpanya-doshopahatasvabhavaha. Pruchhami tvam dharma sammudhachetaha. Pruchhami tvam dharma sammudhachetaha. Yachreyasya nishchitam bruhi tanme. Yachreyasya nishchitam bruhi tanme. Shishyasteham shadimam tvam prapannam. Shishyasteham shadimam tvam prapannam. Finally, confused Arjuna is now surrendering to Lord Krishna. Now I am surrendering. Krishna, I am confused now. I do not know. Now you have to guide me. That is the meaning of this verse. Let us go to the simple meaning of this word. O Lord Krishna, my inborn nature has been overwhelmed by the bane of faint-heartedness, and I am confused as regards my dharma or duty. So I am asking you, tell me definitely what will prove beneficial to me. I am your disciple. Teach me, who has surrendered to you. Karpanya doshopahatasva bhavaha. My inborn nature has been overwhelmed by the bane of faint-heartedness. Dharma sammuda chetaha. I am confused as regards my duty. Pruchhami tvam. I am now asking you, yat shreyasyat nishchitam bruhi tanme. Tell me definitely what will prove beneficial to me. Shishyasteham. I now become your disciple. Until now, he was friend of Lord Krishna. But in the battlefield, not even the friend, because Krishna was a charioteer. And he was the lord of the charioteer. He was guiding. The charioteer should obey what the warrior tells. So now, Arjuna is the Swami, Lord now, and Krishna is the driver. But now, because of this state, Arjuna is telling, I will now become your disciple. Shishyasteham. I am now becoming your disciple. Shadimam tvam prapannam. Shadi means, please give me instruction. Teach me, who has surrendered to you, O Lord Krishna. Until now, you can see all the time, Arjuna was advising Lord Krishna. He was confused and he was totally deluded. But now, in the last few verses, you saw some tonic given by Lord Krishna in the form of some strong words. That has opened the eyes of Arjuna. Now, he is telling, I do not know what is right, what is wrong. Please guide me, Krishna. In this verse, Arjuna is explaining his position soberly than what we heard towards the end of the first chapter. There, he was completely broken down. He had lost his balance of mind. So grief-stricken he had become. But now, after the tonic administered by Sri Krishna in verse 2 and 3 of this chapter, as we saw before, Arjuna became somewhat calm. He could explain his difficulties more cogently. We all of us pass through this kind of situation in our life. Arjuna is not unique, except in one sense. All of us have no battle to wage or fight a war. Arjuna here has to fight a war. But all of us have the battle of our life. Arjuna may be having a battle with his enemies physically, but we, all of us, have to face the battle of life. What is the battle of life? Every day you have to fight with your emotions, You have to fight with your problems. You have to fight with your own mind. You have to fight with your family members, in the office, in the working place, everywhere you have to fight. So we are facing the battle of life. We are facing problems, overcoming them, trying to achieve life fulfillment. The challenge is there before all of us. So we are not going to become Arjunas, going to fight with everybody. That is not the meaning of Bhagavad Gita. One particular situation, something in it has a universal value. Take out that universal value from that situation. So here, reading the Bhagavad Gita, you should not get confused thinking that we should also take up weapons and go and fight. No, you have to read between the lines. So you have to take up the spirit of that and use that to face the challenges, the problems which comes to your life. That is not the meaning of Bhagavad Gita. One particular situation, something in it has a universal value. Take out that universal value from that situation. That is why after the first half of the second chapter in the Bhagavad Gita, you don't hear of war at all. It is all about character building, purity of your mind, love, compassion. The whole teaching, when you come to the 12th chapter, do you remember what is the 12th chapter? 12th chapter is Bhakti Yoga, the yoga of devotion. There it gets reflected in the question, who is my true devotee? Sri Krishna will tell, he is my true devotee who is not only strong, but he is fearless and also who makes others also strong and fearless. Not only a true devotee will himself be fearless and strong, but he will make others too fearless and strong. He doesn't use his strength to destroy other people. Yasmanno dvijate loko, lokanno dvijate chayaha. He who does not frighten the world, and he who is not frightened by the world. The 12th chapter, 15th verse. See, everywhere there is no war at all. After this situation now, it is all building up your character. A timid person doesn't frighten the world, but he is timid. There is no virtue in it. But a very strong person can frighten the world. That is also not a high virtue. But have strength and fearlessness and inspire the same thing in others as well. That is the ideal humanity which is proclaimed by Lord Krishna in this Bhagavad Gita. That is the main teaching, not only in this book, but all through our Sanatana Dharma, our literature, in the Upanishads, in the Bhagavad Gita, the Mahabharata, Srimad Bhagavatam. Everywhere you will find the word which has been coined in Sanskrit. What is that? Typifying the Sanatana Dharma, mind of the best human being. The word is Ajata Shatru. What is the meaning of Ajata Shatru? Ajata means unborn, one whose enemy is not yet born. See what a beautiful term, Ajata Shatru, one whose enemy is not yet born. You have an enemy, but you love him, you forgive him. That is one thing. You have no enemy at all, you don't recognize any enemy. That is the highest state of mind. That term is a very meaningful term, Ajata Shatru, whose Shatru, enemy, is not yet born, considered to be the highest level of human development. Probably only a handful of people can achieve that highest state. But it is the highest stage we have to reach. To reach this highest state, we have to proceed in that direction by becoming less and less aggressive, more and more loving and peaceful. And the whole thing will be a natural development of any human being. from what he or she is under all conditions to what he or she can be in that high level. In this journey of man, from ordinary condition to the highest level, that is being expounded here in the Bhagavad Gita. So, here afterwards, you need not be confused. What is this? We are reading only war and fighting. Krishna is going to fight. Not at all. So, this kind of highest stage of human character has been expounded in the Bhagavad Gita as a philosophy of human development. In the course of that, you will have occasions sometimes to resist evil by fight, by war, as things are in the world. If you don't do so, you will not be able to achieve your own development or development of the society as a whole. Evil will multiply if you don't resist evil that is there. That message meant for a mendicant or a sadhu is different from the message meant for a householder. The latter has a family, the householder has a family. He or she has to look after one's people, keep them, protect them. If somebody comes and steals from the house, he or she cannot honor the thief and say, take this also. He or she will have to starve, will have to starve one's own children thereby. But some great sadhus have done it, like Pavahari Baba or some other great sadhu saints will be doing it. We read in Vivekananda's life, when a thief stole away some things, he ran behind the thief saying, you have forgotten some more things, I am giving this, take this also. Now, that is a beautiful idea. And the thief, inspired by the touch of Pavahari Baba, later on, he renounced the world. He himself became a sadhu. And Vivekananda met him in Rishikesh and heard the story of his transformation by the touch of Pavahari Baba. But can an average citizen do like this? What he or she has lost is lost and will suffer from that loss. He or she cannot afford to lose. One must learn to protect what one has by peaceful means and, if necessary, by violent means as well. So now we should understand rightly. That's why Krishna is taking now Arjuna step by step, how to become strong, how to become man of character, how to become fearless to others. Though you become strong, you should not be violent. But while you are working for righteousness, somewhere you have to use violence for the welfare of the many. Now, one of our great saints, that is Swami Ranganathanandaji Maharaj, he was in USA at that time. The Vietnam War of the USA was going on. Now, Americans were fighting on the street. They were protesting on the streets. Ranganathanji Maharaj used to tell. Why? To stop war with Vietnam, because it was wrong, killing the people of Vietnam. But the same people never protested when America went to war against Nazi Hitler. Why? Because that was righteous war. This was unrighteous. So he gives the beautiful example. So we have the capacity to think when it is righteous, yes, you have to fight, you should be strong, you should protect yourself, you have to protect your family. But when it is unrighteous thing, then you need not go for that. That is the thing. So beautiful things will be given by Lord Krishna in the whole of teaching, how a human character is to be developed. We will go on seeing one by one. Here afterwards, the true teaching of Bhagavad Gita will start. Until now, it was all the human problems were discussed. And now, when Arjuna comes to know what is his problem, he has come to know how weak his mind was. And now, when he completely surrenders to Lord Krishna, then only Krishna starts giving him this teaching. Until then, until he surrenders, he never opens his mouth. He keeps quiet. He's waiting for this chance now where he has to surrender. What have we to note here? We have to note that God has given free will. As we all many times think, oh, everything is fatalism. Everything is going according to the will of Lord. Why should we do anything? We can keep quiet. No, that is not true. God has given us free will. He has given us the capacity to think. The discriminative faculty, Viveka, has been given to us to do what is right and what is wrong. So, with our will, we can choose good or bad. Now, here again, after the whole of Bhagavad Gita, giving that wonderful teaching of Bhagavad Gita, in the end, 18th chapter, you know what Lord Krishna told to Arjuna? Arjuna, I have told what has to be told. Now you decide what is right and what is wrong. Act accordingly. He didn't force him to war. He only gave him the right direction. He gave him the right teaching. Afterwards, he gave him the choice. Now it is up to you. So God will never force you to do anything. There is no fatalism. He has given you free will. You can act. So if you act on the wrong side and do the wrong thing, then you get the consequences. You have to face the music. If you do the right thing, now God will help you to go forward still higher and higher and higher. So now we should never think that everything is fatalism, believe in that. So everything is decided and everything is going on by the will of the Lord. So what is there to do? We will just keep quiet and become lazy. No. You have to understand the difference between God's will and free will. Now I'll just give one example for God's will and free will, and then finally I will end my talk. In the next chapter we will take up the teachings of Krishna, where it will be so wonderful, and also some other beautiful things we will learn from Bhagavad Gita in the next chapter. Now, one beautiful example of free will and God's will, where we get confused. Now you know that. We all grow up to the height of maybe 6 feet or 6.5 or 6.1, whatever might be the maximum height. Some may be 5 feet, some may be even lesser than that. So, our growth in height is already decided. You can't change that now. That is, height-wise, it is the will of the Lord. You don't have anything in that. But the width, the size, increasing your weight, you should not think that is fatalistic. That is also not in my hand, and go on eating and increase your weight. So it is free will. Now you can reduce or increase. The height you cannot increase or decrease. That is God's will. But the weight, becoming fat or thin or becoming healthy and other things, is in your hand. So likewise here, God has given some free will, and also there is the God's will. So now you have to decide what to do. The right thing to do has to be taken by you. God has given you the faculty of Viveka, the power, discriminative faculty. Use it and do the right thing. Now, Ramakrishna also tells about that free will and God's will, or God's grace and human effort. He gives the beautiful example. Now, the cow and the tether, the rope given to the cow. So what is the rope given to the cow? That is the freedom which you have got. If the cow goes and eat the grass properly, now the cowherd will come and say, oh, this cow is very good cow, it is eating nice grass and it will give good milk. So he will extend the length still more. And if the cow still eats that nicely, he will still extend. So finally he will see this is a good cow, so I will set it free. But a cow will not make use of the freedom given in the form of the rope. It will just not eat anything out of laziness. It will be there. It will start crying. The cowherd, the owner comes, look at it and sees this is not a good cow. It's not eaten the grass which is given in that particular area. It has not used the freedom which has been given in the form of that rope. So he doesn't care for that and goes away. So here, giving this beautiful example, Ramakrishna tells, see, you have that free will. You can make use of that properly given by God, that free will. And if you make use, of that properly, God will extend that freedom still more and more and more. Finally, He will make you, set you free. That is the difference or the connection between free will and self-effort. So as Ramana Maharshi tells, how is the connection between the free will and self-effort? Our God's grace is directly proportional to your self-effort. How do you get God's grace? How do you get everything? By self-effort. So they are connected. So we should understand all these things. And now as we go on, you will see all these wonderful things told by Lord Krishna, and we shall enjoy all the beautiful teachings of Krishna and put that into practice in our life and be blessed. Thank you. Now we shall conclude our Gita class with one of the meditation verses of Bhagavad Gita. Mukam karoti vachalam pangum langhayate girim yatkripatamaham vande paramanandamadhavam. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Tat Sat. Shri Rama Krishna Arpanamastu.